Oh my gosh, you guys are in for a special treat. I am actually doing something a little bit different, and I'm sharing a guest interview on the podcast with you guys today. I know usually those are only on Mondays, but I just had an amazing guest on and we went over, so I decided to split it into two episodes. So today you're going to hear part one of Jessica Wiltshire's story. She is a millionaire earner with Isogenics. She's a mom of three, and she and her husband went living overseas for several years with the military, where they hit their rock bottom in their marriage, experienced infidelity, and they have had an amazing comeback story. So we're going to dive into all of it. And today you guys are going to hear the first part, which goes over more of like their story and their marriage and their comeback and tools that have helped them as they get through that. And then Monday, we will hear the second part, which is more like the business side. She has amazing tips to share for people who are building a business, who are building in network marketing, that are at a certain point that they can't seem to break through. So we talk all the things. I hope you guys love this episode. If so, be sure to take a screenshot and shout both of us out on Instagram. We would love to hear from you. I know she especially would, after being super vulnerable with her story today. So with that being said, enjoy the show. All right, you guys, today we have a very special guest on the show. My friend, Jessica Wiltshire, is an Isogenics millionaire. She is the founder of her Dream Big team in Isogenics, and she's the founder of her Network Marketing Mastery, which is a brand new mastermind for six-figure network marketers who are tired of being lonely in leadership and stuck in management mode. Oh my gosh, so many people can relate to that. Yes. She's going to be sharing her tools and resources in that mastermind of how to go from 6 to 7 figures to break through that ceiling. And she's going to be giving them opportunities for massive growth, both personally and professionally. And I'm just so freaking excited for her, because today we get to talk rock bottoms and we get to talk legit business. I mean, this girl's an Isogenics millionaire. So welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so grateful and honored to be here. Thank you so much. And that beautiful introduction. I just love you. Thanks.
So we met because she joined Kayla's mastermind, and we're in the mastermind together. But before she even said it much or was really active in there, I was like, oh my gosh, who is this girl? Yeah. I love her because she has this incredible energy and positivity. She just radiates confidence and joy and love for other women. And I was so drawn to that. And I was like, who are you? I need to get to know you. So I was mini stalking you a little bit.
Oh my gosh, same. Completely same. And I felt the same way towards you, just so much connection. And I just was drawn to your positivity. And I knew, I'm she's going to be my friend. She doesn't know it, but she's going to be my friend.
Well, at least we both were in the same boat together. That could have been awkward. Okay, so tell us, let's go back. Who were you before? How did you even get started? How did you create this life? I forgot to include, you're a mom of 3. Yeah. You do it all. Your husband is ex-military or still military?
No, he's retired 8 years. Yes. So we got him out of there after the business took off. That was my big goal. So how this all started. So let's go back there. At the time when I first started network marketing, I had 2 babies. And, I was always attracted to the profession. I thought it was really just kind of sexy and cool. The lifestyle, I was yes, that's awesome. Really? Yeah, totally.
Most people have a negative perception of network marketing.
I liked the lifestyle. However, I did get, I guess prospected in a nasty way, which is why I never stepped in. But I loved the lifestyle from the outside, gosh, that's cool for them, right? Mm-hmm. And I was, kind of looking at them that's great. I would love that, but I would never do that kind of thing. And, we were one income family. My husband was in the military. We were in San Diego, and, it was just, money was always just a struggle with us and for us, and, having 2 babies and living in such a beautiful place. It was just, a struggle. But for me, I knew that mom was my job and my number one thing. And that's all I really wanted to do. Back when I was a little girl, I just dreamed of being a mom, and that's the most important job I know that I'll ever have. And so I never thought that I would work outside the home, and I really just didn't want to. However, I knew that, things were tight, that I had to help out some sort of way. So I was like, what am I going to do? So I found myself going to beauty school to be an esthetician. So I was doing, I was in school to do skincare and waxing and facials, which I wasn't passionate at all about it. I just thought like, hey, that's what you do when, like I can make my own schedule.
Home.
Yeah, exactly. I can like just be really flexible with my time and still put my kids first. And I finished school, which was great. And then we got stationed to Japan right after that. And so that was my first rock bottom because I was super excited to help out financially. Yeah. Not too excited to leave my kids, but I knew I could, do both in some sort of way. But I was, we were stationed to Japan where I'm like, dang, like I just went to school, spent all this money, and now I can't do this. What am I going to do now?
Wow.
And so that was really frustrating and, really hard. And when we moved to Japan, that was definitely a huge rock bottom because I didn't want to go there. And my husband really didn't either. He was never really passionate about the military. He was doing it, God bless him, to take care of the family. And I'm so grateful for that. But it wasn't what he loved doing. And so when you're not fulfilled in your job and your profession, like it shows, it shows in your relationships and in family life. And so we kind of went there with like just frustrated and not in a really good place, even within our marriage. And my girlfriend told me about Isagenix, and strictly just because she knew I was having a really hard time emotionally. And she also knew I was trying to lose the baby weight. And, it's amazing for, weight loss and just really just health all around. And so she told me about it, but I was really skeptical. I was like, I don't want to be a shake girl. That's not what I am. And I make my own green smoothies. I know what to do. However, I was at such a low point that I was kind of like, whatever will help me, I'm just willing to try,
Really?
Yes, because she looked amazing. And she was getting so much energy. She got abs after baby. And here I was just depressed, not confident in who I was in a new country, not, wanting to take my kids out and have fun. Like I just didn't like who I was in the mirror. And so I saw what she had, and that was like, okay, like I need to try it kind of thing.
Oh my gosh. That's a quick little nugget for everybody listening. She saw what she had. She didn't see the shake, right? No. It's always about like the result. Are you showing people the result that they want?
Yeah, that's a good takeaway. I love that one. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. So I got started, and I always say the business kind of happened on accident for me because, again, going back to, I didn't really have any intention of ever doing network marketing, but it just happened so beautifully. I feel like God placed it in my lap for a reason. And it happened just so naturally, just talking about it and sharing it with family and friends because it worked and I felt amazing and I felt so good. And people saw that too, to where I didn't even really have to say much. They were just asking.
Okay.
And, I got my girlfriend and I was like, here's a bunch of names. Like, I don't know what they want. Like, just take care of them. And she was like, let me show you how to do this. And so that's kind of what opened my eyes to, gosh, I wonder if I could do this too, kind of thing. And I started earning a little bit of money here and there. And that's what kind of sparked the belief in myself that like, gosh, if I'm making a couple $100s by just being myself and sharing something that I just really like and I would do anyways with or without a paycheck, why would I not try harder and really help other people and even help ourselves, because again, like I told you, military wasn't his passion. We weren't happy there. And it was at such a low point where I was like, I hated being told like where we're going to live and what we're going to do. And I'm like, I want to be in control of that. Like, I want to tell you where we're going to live. Like, I want to, tell you how much money we're going to make. Like, I don't want to be limited. And it felt so gross. And, we're so grateful for the military because it did so much for us at our growing family at that time. Yeah. However, that was just not the lifestyle we wanted. But it really opened my eyes to more being kind of stripped away from the freedom. It opened my eyes to, gosh, like, I do want more. I do deserve more. And I'm going to do what I can to get it.
I love that you had that like belief already that you could produce that. It sounds almost like this was a belief that you developed that you didn't even have when you did beauty school, because anybody going into beauty school doesn't have this belief of like, oh, I can make as much money as I want to and build whatever life that I want. So it sounds like this was a belief that had changed. Mm-hmm. Even in the middle of like a move out of the country to somewhere else. So can you talk about like what inspired this belief all of a sudden?
I truly believe it was the stories I heard of other women who were like me, who were doing the same thing. And that's what started everything. It's just that little bit of belief that like, oh my gosh, she's a mom. She's making millions of dollars. There ain't nothing different about her than with me. Like, we're all the same. Like, so why couldn't I, And it just was that little, like, just the little thought in my head, like, well, why not me? And it was just those stories. And again, I was across the country, so I wasn't even around these women. We were in a Facebook group, and I was just watching all these stories of, them doing this and them crushing this goal and them making this much money. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, you could do that. And it just was so inspiring. And that's why I'm so big on storytelling and, sharing that, because it's massive. It gives people hope. It gives people, just that hope that they could do this too. Yeah. That's kind of, I think, what started the belief, for sure.
And I love that you saw them and thought, they're no better than me. Why can't I do it too? Because I think so many women look at other women and think they are on a pedestal, that they are better, that they somehow have more than them. So I love that you didn't think that. That's amazing. And you keep talking about hope and needing hope. So can you talk to us a little bit about, like, what were you so desperate for hope for? Here, you mentioned a little bit, like, you had a hard time in your marriage even before you guys went to Japan. Can you speak a little bit about, like, what was that like, settling in Japan, not knowing anybody, being like totally different culture, different language?
It was like living in a video game. Let's just be real. That's how I always explain it. It was like living in this weird virtual world where I was like, oh my gosh, where the heck am I? How did I get here? And then, of course, having marital issues before we even got there, I felt like I was moved there with like a stranger. And so that was really, really hard for me, actually, and I was really attached to my kids, and I just focused on being a mom and this new business. But the hope that it gave me was, okay, gosh, like, if we either split up or if we're together, regardless, this business will fund either one. And so that's what really drove me too. And that was the hope that I got, where I'm like, regardless, we need it. If we're going to stay together, it's going to give us and him the profession that he, finds fulfilling, and we can be a full-time family, and maybe that will save our marriage. Right. And I had that kind of hope. Or if this doesn't work out, I need some sort of income coming in. And so it gave me hope to just a better future with, regardless of whatever outcome it was. And I knew going to Japan, it was either going to be either one. It was a make or break situation for us. I knew that. And so yeah, that hope was driven from a place of a rock bottom where I was just so desperately needing something, and I just kept praying and praying for something. I'm like, what do I do, God? What do I do? Like, my beauty school, all that stuff is done. Like, my license now, like, I can't work it here. What am I supposed to do financially and all this stuff? And so just those stories just ignited something inside of me that gave me the hope that there's more for me. And I always knew that there was, I just needed, I think, someone to show me. And I was open to receive it at that time too,
Oh, totally. And that makes a difference. It sounds like you really needed community. I can imagine it was super lonely over there. And you just said, felt like you were married to a stranger, which, first of all, thank you for sharing that and like acknowledging that sometimes in marriage, it can feel like you're with a stranger. I don't think you're the only one that's resonating with that statement. I've been there. I've been there for sure. And I think there are a lot of people, after the kids come along, after life changes, like, you are kind of like, wait a minute, what is even going on? Who am I even with? Do you mind speaking a little bit about, like, how you guys even got there in the first place? Was it having kids? Like, any of that? Or like...
Yeah, I don't think it had to do with the kids. I feel like we just got married really young and in an immature way. We didn't think things through at that time. And so things were just kind of rough and rocky from the get-go. And so I don't think it had to do with children. I actually feel like having kids helped me stay in the marriage longer, because I had an attachment to someone else other than my husband, which is so unhealthy. I want that to be known. That's so unhealthy. But that's kind of my mindset at that time.
Yeah.
Of course, like, your relationship with your husband comes first and then your kids next, but it was twisted with us. And so it was always definitely rocky, which is why when I moved to Japan, I knew it was either a make or break sort of thing. And, I also grew up in a home where, we didn't believe in divorce, and we were very religious, or I guess you could say spiritual, not really religious, just spiritual. And we just knew, like, well, I knew I didn't want a divorce. I wanted things to work out. And I fought and tried my hardest regardless of what our circumstances were. And I kind of shut that off in Japan, where when I was with this, like I say, a stranger, because I was tired of fighting. I was tired of, trying to get his attention and keep fighting for a marriage that there was nothing there. And so that's kind of, I just shut off emotionally. And yes, I was needing community so bad. So I found it. I found it within this business, but also in Japan. You bet I was out there, well, of course, networking for my business, but I was out there for myself too. I needed some good girlfriends. And I found them. I mean, they're my best friends still to this day, which is so amazing. But people are everything. Community is everything. So that's what really kept me going was definitely the friendships and the business and the people that were in it that were inspiring me and giving me hope that there's more for me. So.
Oh, I love that. This is the beautiful part about network marketing. I just have to say it can be so life-changing in that way. And I love that you found that. So you guys go to Japan. You're there for how long?
3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. 3 years. And I started my business basically right when I first got there, like within a couple of months. And I was making as much money as him within 3 months, which is great. And then it kept tripling. And then it was going from there. And within a year and a half, it was a 6-figure income. And that was a huge goal that I remember bawling my eyes out. It was so exciting because, just this belief at first that like, oh gosh, what if you could do it? And then actually doing it, you're like, oh my gosh,
Right.
And it's my favorite thing in the world to just help other women, especially just do the same thing, So.
To let them see that they have that value in them.
Yeah.
I think so many women don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize that they are intrinsically valuable and that they have skills and abilities or hobbies that can make them amazing money from home.
Right. And you're so right. And a lot of women too are so broken in a way. They forget about themselves. They pour everything into their family, which is amazing. You should. But I truly think we could do it all. We can have it all. It's all about priorities. And I hate the word balance. So that's why I'm going to just kind of go like this, because there's never really a good balance. It's just a matter of priorities, but you can have it all. You can be successful and make money. You can be an amazing mom. And, you can have whatever you want. And it's just a mindset. Yeah. And meeting other women, that's been my favorite part through this, is just pulling out the gold in them and showing them they can do this too, or whatever they want. My story isn't everyone else's story. I wanted this to be our plan A, but some people it's for the, plan B or C or even F, and that's okay. But as long as those women just grow and get confident and see the beauty in themselves, and that's the most valuable part of all this, not even money related,
Totally. Everything. I agree. So by the time you guys were done with Japan, or the 3 years in Japan, what did that look like for your marriage and then coming back? We're hearing the business is growing and doing amazing. Yeah. What about you personally?
Yeah. So, business was booming. It was amazing, but our personal life was falling apart and no one knew. So, our family was home in the States and we were far away. And so they had no idea what was really going on behind closed doors. It looks beautiful and it looks amazing on social media, but they don't know. And what was going on was we were, going through major problems. We had counseling every single week. And at the time we were going to counseling for just revival and help in our marriage. But at the end of it, we really realized, gosh, it seemed like it was more of a divorce counseling. It was prep for divorce, where the counselor, it kind of just drove us even further apart when we were hoping to kind of come together. And so our marriage we didn't have one. We completely separated in Japan about 1.5 to 2 years in. And we couldn't be physically separated because military life, you have to stay in that home. And so, I was upstairs, or actually I was downstairs, he was upstairs, and we just were living completely 2 different lives. And we had plans to, when we got home from Japan, got home to California, that we would just physically separate from there and just end it. It was a mess. It was definitely not fun. It was hard.
How did you handle that?
Ooh, how did I handle that? I don't feel like I really did. I feel like I poured myself into other things to distract myself to where, and I told you, I emotionally just let go. And so I was done. So when it was over, I was it's fine. It's fine. I built this business. I'm fine now. It's a little too late, buddy. That's how I thought, where I'm you should have paid attention before when I was crying for you and needed all this stuff and telling you there's a problem. And he's it's cool. It's fine. Men, I feel like men kind of, I don't know. they're just different than us women. We need more nurturing, more love, more talking and all the things. And men just, they love differently, and that's okay because God made them that way. But I didn't know that, and I wish I had some strong mentors growing up, and even at that time, to guide me and to show me what marriage really looks like and what partnership really looks like. I think our marriage would have been a lot different. But all these expectations I had on him and expectations of marriage, those set the bar too high for anyone to fail, And so I don't really feel like I really handled it well. I kind of just shut off emotionally and kept going.
Yeah.
So
thank you for being so honest and for sharing that. I know that can be really vulnerable and hard to share, but I can relate. You've heard my story, and it's really easy to get to that point where you feel like you've been saying like, hey, red flag, red flag, red flag, and like getting no response. And you're like, well, don't really know what else to do. And you kind of go into survival mode a little bit, I think.
Oh, of course. Totally. And, I'm so open to share this because, you shared your podcast on your podcast, your story, and it was so beautiful. And again, back to storytelling, I think it's so powerful for people to hear. So it's not fun to talk about it, but I know whoever's receiving on the other end, it might be a complete breakthrough. So
totally. Well, you guys are together today. Yes. So I'm all, what happened? Take us through.
Oh, I know. Oh my gosh. Well, how much time do we have? No, I'm just kidding. Well, I think what really, really caught his attention was when I started to have feelings for someone else. And I told him this during that time in Japan, and I completely fell for this other man. And I was very open. I told him, I was like, I'm having feelings for someone else. I don't want to feel this. I want to feel it for you. And I think at that time, it kind of opened his mind to like, oh shoot, she's serious. Because all these years I've been like crying for something, right? And I've been trying to tell him there's something wrong. We need this. We need that. Like, we need help. I need this from you. And it was more just like, oh, you're too needy kind of thing. And I'm like, it kind of just, I think, hit him in between the eyes, like, oh, she wasn't joking.
Right.
But I think, he resorted towards anger. Of course, I can understand that. I would be angry too, but it was just, it kind of obviously split us even further apart, where I ran towards that relationship and that man to protect me versus coming together and trying to fix it. But at that time in Japan, we were still there at that time. I didn't know this, but he was talking to a pastor back at our old church. So he was getting mentorship and he was getting prayer and he was looking for the right thing to do. Even though, I feel like he was handling it not the right way with me very much, but I didn't know he was doing some inner work before I even did. And so, long story short, towards the end of our trip to Japan, or our time in Japan, when it was coming to an end, things went a little bit more serious with this guy. And it took a step further into me getting pregnant. And that was a huge, huge rock bottom also, to where I'm like, I can't believe I did this. I can't believe this is my life. Like, I'm going to come home from Japan into California and be pregnant, and it's not my husband's baby. Like, this is not, I'm going to get emotional, but this is not how I pictured my life to be. And yes, my business is amazing and it's growing, but nobody knows really what's going on in my heart and how lonely I am. That was really hard. However, just answering your question, long story short, our daughter completely, I feel like, brought us back together, because again, it took my husband to really see, gosh, her heart really isn't there. And from that moment, he was fighting and fighting and fighting for me. And I told you I shut off emotionally. So I was like, done. He kept fighting and he kept fighting, and he kept getting that, having that pastor help him. And he would go to that pastor and, kind of vent to him, and he would guide him. And he kept fighting for me, and he never stopped. And even when I was just, completely, I was completely shut off emotionally. I was with someone else emotionally too. And I was pregnant. Let's just be honest. Like, who does that? Like, as far as like this man wanting to fight for someone who's already moved on, obviously in the wrong way. We weren't even, divorced legally yet, but he was still fighting and fighting. And so I'm like, gosh, like this, there's something there. I never saw that in him before. I never saw that he even loved me before. I truly believed he didn't love me. And so that's what started all this stuff. So I truly am so thankful for that pastor speaking life into him and guiding him, and for the journey that we've had, messy or not, because all of it played a part in us being together today. That pastor speaking life into him, me having Jordan, our sweet little daughter, and that just softened his heart to, like, he just fought for me. And to be honest with you, right before I had Jordan, he asked to try again and to, try this one more time. And I think I told you this, I wasn't emotionally there to want to even try, but I remember at this time where I'm like, gosh, I want my kids to know that I did everything I could in my power to make this marriage work. I came from a broken family myself, and so did my husband. And so I know our agreement when we first got married was that will never be us. And so that's kind of what, drove me to try again with him. And I told him, I was like, yes, I'll try. My heart wasn't there, but yes, I'll try for the kids. But it has to be completely different. We have to be friends. We have to be close for a year and see if we even like each other, because I told you we didn't have much of a close relationship, it was what it was, but we weren't close. So I just kind of had it on my terms where I'm like, let's just be friends for the year and see where this goes. And, we were in San Diego at the time, and we were just buddies, super funny. We were just buddies living in our own places. And I found an amazing church, and I resort everything to God. I don't know I know what you believe, but listeners who are listening right now, I'm not sure where they're at and how open they are to this, but long story short, that's the only reason why we're together. It has nothing to do on our part because we're weak humans. It was all God, speaking into us and showing us like who we are in Him. And we are overcomers, and, we can start new any day. And having that heart of forgiveness to forgive each other for, the things that we both did to each other, and healing our hearts, and having an amazing church and amazing leadership to guide us and to show us, and has been everything. So we were friends for a year, and he re-proposed to me in Vegas, and he's amazing. I'm so grateful for him, because we wouldn't be together if he wasn't there fighting for someone who was completely shut off. So.
And you are amazing for sharing this story and for being so open and so vulnerable. And I just want to thank you for that. And obviously, I've been there. I've been that woman that had feelings for someone else as a married woman. And it feels so shameful. It feels so shameful to be like, I'm married. How could I be this person? And for me, it felt so shameful because I had so judged other people who had been there. And now being on the other side and seeing people for who they really are, I hear your story and I just have so much compassion, because I see how incredibly hurt you were, and how lonely you were, and how you were just looking for love, and you didn't even have that love for yourself. And so that's why you were needing it from other people. And so when you can understand people and what drives them to do things, it gives us so much more compassion for other people. And so I just want to commend you and thank you for sharing that. And I think you're amazing. And I think you both have done a lot of work to fight for your marriage. It takes a lot of work to come back from something like that. I know firsthand. And nothing is ever black and white. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the hardest part for me in our story, was I had been such a black and white person before.
Right.
And I had judged other people so hard based on black and white things. I didn't understand not everything is black and white, and it's okay if it's gray, and it's okay if you don't have an answer right now.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what that has been like for you guys, and the work the last few years has been like?
Oh, it's been like another job, basically.
Yes.
But
100%.
Again, why I'm so passionate about network marketing is because when we did get back together, he was at that place where he was either going to retire and get out early at 8 years or stay in. And if we weren't together, he would of course have to stay in. Mm-hmm. So he had that option to get out. And so I'm so grateful for that option that he made, because we had the time to take the time to figure out and to learn about each other, to go to counseling, to mend our relationship, to be friends. We had so much time together to where I don't think any normal couple would have had that, both working outside the home, or even just one of them if they are. It's it just was such a sweet time. And I can't even tell you how I'm going to get emotional thinking about it. Building my business and going through all the hard things, I feel was so worth it, especially at this time where we had this time to mend just our relationship. And what that looked like was counseling every week. I got counseling privately, he got counseling privately, and we also did it together. We had a lot of little exercises to do together. A lot of date nights. We didn't do date nights before, we didn't even like each other. We didn't even talk to each other. So this was so new for us. So it was fun. It was hard. It was challenging. Gosh, it still is. I mean, marriage is always work. You're never at this place of destination where you've made it. And I think that's what I've learned the most, where I had this expectation as a child, like looking at these beautiful movies and, even just couples that you knew in your life, but you look on the outside, gosh, they look amazing and perfect. But I know inside there's never like a destination. There's always something. And so taking that expectation off of knowing this is not a fairy tale, right? Life is not perfect. And it's always just your effort. You're in charge of your effort only, right? And as long as you're putting all that effort into the same goal, which is staying together and keeping the family together, like there's no wrong. So yeah, it's a lot of work, and it's not fun sometimes. Sometimes, a lot of the time it is, because we had a lot of fun time just trying to get to know each other and literally just laughing and asking each other funny questions. Like we've never done that before. So it was just so cute to date him again when we're married. Aww. It's so funny.
And I love that he totally re-proposed and everything. I think
oh my gosh, I bawled my eyes out like a baby. Oh my gosh, yes, I know.
I have said to Peter before that I was like, I could use a re-proposal after our story and everything we've been through. Buddy.
Yes, girl, yes.
What are some
big joy?
I am. What are some best practices for marriage that you guys do now that maybe you didn't before, that you've learned over the last few years? I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, totally. So praying together was something we never did. Praying for each other together. So that's huge. Ooh. So praying together, sitting down, but praying for each other. Like he'll pray over me, I'll pray over him. And then that's it. Like it can be as 5 minutes long or 2 minutes long, or sometimes it goes 10 minutes long. But it's so beautiful to see the Spirit moving in both of us. And you start praying for things that like you didn't even know you wanted prayer for. Like it's just so amazing. And it uplifts the other person so much to where like it's just so life-giving. I think that's the main thing that we've done. And of course there's date nights and those things that I told you we never did. But just praying for each other out loud with each other has been so powerful. And I can even tell if we skip a day where we don't, like, it's just not the same. Like it's not, like, it's kind of like your power for me. Like I had like a millionaire morning where I do my devotional, I do my journal and my prayer time. And if I don't do that time for myself, I'm not the same Jessica. And so I feel like our marriage isn't the same marriage if we're not praying for each other with each other. Of course, doing like little devotionals are cute together. We've done a few of them. I can't think of the names. I'll have to get you them. But what's been the most, I think, game changer was just actually praying together and spending more time together. And I guess me being flexible too with doing some things that he loves to do. I don't love watching TV. I actually can't stand it. I would rather read a book or do, some other kind of connecting activity. But he loves watching TV. So kind of taking that time to be like, okay, that's his hobby. He loves to do that. Let's watch a show. And me kind of sucking it up. And, it means the world to him though. It means the world to do something that he loves to do with him. And it's not about you. That's what I've learned. It's not about me and what I like. He loves this. And that's been really huge to see him light up in that way.
Have you heard about like Will Smith and Jada Smith? I bring this up because I just recently heard more them talk about like their marriage. And he talked about how they each get to pick like 10 days out of the year where they get to plan like some sort of trip or do something that they love. And it's full of activities that they love and the spouse has to come with.
Cute.
And so like will plan this like amazing 10-day like adventure like in the jungle, like safari, and she has to come with and do like all the things he wants to do for 10 days. And then she gets to pick 10 days and plan like whatever she wants to plan, and he has to come with. And so they always do it together, but they each pick something that is all about like them, and the spouse comes along with. And I was like, oh, I love that idea. I mean, I don't know if we could do that extent, but like, yeah.
It's so fun. Are you serious? I love that. It's a great idea.
It's like holding that space, right? To celebrate that person for who they are and join them in it. But then you also get the same back. And I do think like that is so overlooked in marriage. And I think that's why people get so, I don't want to say like impatient, because there's more than impatience there, right? Why we get so bitter maybe towards the other person, because we don't recognize that we each need that and we need to ask for that.
Totally.
And then be that for each other and like create the space intentionally to do that.
Yes.
So I love that you talked about that.
Yeah, being intentional is so huge. And what, this is funny. I love business so much that like I had to even kind of look at my marriage as a business, where like I schedule my business calls, I schedule my training calls, my coaching calls, I schedule my workout in, but I wasn't scheduling in my time with him or even my kids. And if it means so much to me, why is it not on my calendar? So for me, like I had to really be like, okay, like I have to be intentional with this time that I spend with my, they're the most important things to me, that they're why I work so hard at the end of the day. So I treat it like, I know I'm not trying to say like it's about, it's not like he's a business, but you know what I'm saying? You put it on the calendar, it means a lot to you. And if it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen. So I had to kind of get that mindset where it does mean a lot to me, just like my training calls. So I'm putting him on the schedule and that special time. And same with my kids. We have to do like date nights with them. We don't have to. We get to do date nights with them. So I have to put it on the schedule. Otherwise it won't happen. So I'm like a whole planner schedule type of woman. It matters to me.
I love it. Well, that's how you build an intentionally awesome life. So I love that. Talk to me. You mentioned your millionaire morning, and I thought that sounded super cute. What is your little millionaire morning routine?
You're so cute. I don't even know where I got that from. Honestly, I think I heard a podcast. I cannot own that name, just saying.
That's fine.
I heard it from somewhere and I just stole it because I'm like, this is brilliant. It's a time for you to slow down and to connect with yourself. For me, I am a go, 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 go person. I've always been. And I got stuck in my business. This was a couple of years ago where I was like so stuck, but because I was just go, go, go all the time, I never stopped to breathe, to brain dump my dreams on paper, put my feelings on paper, to, just connect with myself in like a spiritual way. And I know that sounds kind of woo woo to some people, but I really was missing that. And it changed everything once I incorporated Millionaire Mornings. And Millionaire Mornings could be anything for you. What it is for me, it's literally just journaling. I open my journal first and I have like a journal prompt, or if I don't have a journal prompt, I'll pray and I'll say, God, give me a word. Like, what's the word I have to write about today? Like, tell me something. And I'll open the Bible and open up some verse and cool, great. I'm going to journal about that, whatever. If I don't have a journal prompt, I'll do that. But I'll journal a little bit, spend like 5 minutes, 2 minutes. And then I set my timer to pray for 5 minutes out loud. So I go in my office, I set my timer and I pray. I have to do that because I get sidetracked, and if I set a timer, it's going to happen. So my timer is 5 minutes. I pray out loud. I speak in tongues. I have my worship music on. I'm just kind of walking around like, God, like, talk to me, just that time. And so, a little bit of journaling, prayer time, and then I read a devotional, but that's like 1 minute maybe. I'm doing the Unshakable book by Christine Kane. So it's literally like a 1 minute little devo. It's really sweet. But that's really it. I mean, some days are a little different. I maybe won't do a journaling time and I'll just spend more time in prayer, or just put on like some sort of meditation app or some sort of meditation on YouTube and just sit there on the floor, and I'll just receive. I mean, all of it's different. I don't really have the same thing all the time, but it's the majority journaling, praying, and devotional.
Yes, I do the same thing. So I can totally relate. So take me back over to obviously you've built this hugely successful business, which in network marketing is amazing. What are some of your best pieces of advice or best practices? Everyone starts in this business not knowing usually anything about business, anything about sales, anything about how to do any of this. Mm-hmm. And so talking to people that are in it, or just looking back over your journey, what would you say were your biggest lessons or biggest pieces of advice in this?
Gosh, there's a lot. I think the number one thing for me that I've seen where people are most successful with is starting off with having a vision, like a goal in mind. I think some people get, in this business and they're just kind of like, oh, it looks fun, I'll just do this or whatever. Or they just don't really know what their big goal is or their big dream, or they're scared to talk about it. They're scared to talk about the opportunity or the business. What were we going to say?
Or their upline gives them their goal.
Totally. Oh, exactly. They're given goals and they're not owning what they really want. And I know for me, that's built my whole organization, was just sharing, I'm retiring my husband. That's my goal. What do you want? And like being so bold and owning the things that you really dream about. And I think a lot of people don't do that, or they just sound like robots, right? They sound like just like the people in their team, and they're mimicking what they do. And that's not like going to get you so far. And I know in the beginning, when I first started though, I did kind of do that because we don't really know, so we kind of just copy what our leaders do. And we're like, going to do what they do. But where I really learned this, and where it took a huge, I guess, turnaround for me, was when my sponsor, who was my leader with me, she left. And she was my best friend before Isogenics. And we led the team together. We did all of our team trainings, team challenges. She called me every day and was like checking in on me, making sure I was doing certain things. And then she was gone. And she left me as a friend, which was awful, and stopped doing the business. So I was left with all these people, this whole group, like thousands of people looking at me like, what's next? What's next? What do I do? And I'm like, gosh, I'm new. I don't even know what to do either. And so to me, that was a huge, turning point, because I had to step into the leader that my team needed, but the one that I also needed too, that I didn't have. And so I had to, I made a list of like, okay, what kind of leader do I need? And I made out, just a list of characteristics of someone that I need to lead myself, but I didn't have, right? So I just made a list and I became that. That was my goal, becoming that leader for them. And so that changed a lot too, is just owning, my leadership, but helping them to get a vision for themselves and owning my vision. I didn't have one before that, but when she left me, it did me a great, I guess a good thing at the end. It was hurtful, but at the end I learned, gosh, well, Jess, if you're going to do this on your own, if you're going to make this business work, what do you really want? Because at that time it wasn't about her anymore, right? We were doing this, it was fun and we were going for it, but now I'm alone. So really it was like a look in the mirror. Well, what do you really want, Jess? Like, what's your big goal? What do you see? What kind of team do you want? What do you want for your life? And that's where I had to step into, I want to retire my husband. I'm going to, regardless of who's standing next to me or not. And I want to attract other people who want big goals too. And so it just gave me this boldness to be that leader and that person, and like, no, like I'm going to do this,
Oh my gosh. I love that you're talking on this right now, because I had my upline like quit too. And I went through a period of being kind of bitter about it and kind of like, this isn't my fault. Like I didn't sign up for this type thing. Like I signed up and you were supposed to help me, and kind of this attitude of entitlement a little bit.
Right.
And I think that's one of the most common mistakes that I see in network marketing. Network marketing is beautiful because of the team aspect, but it is still your business, and it is still, you signed up for you, not for anybody else. But It's so easy when we join the team to be like, I signed up for this person. Therefore, if they leave, I'm pissed because thanks a lot. Like that did me so much harm in my business, when in reality, no, it's your business. Like that should have no bearing. So how did you make that flip in your head of, instead of being like bitter at them, going, how do I need to take 100% responsibility for my business right now?
Well, I was really mad. I'm not going to lie. Like, I was really upset. I'm not going to tell you it was just, so easy. I was definitely upset and hurt and cried my eyes out, all the things, but I wasn't in action, and I was focusing on my anger, and I was focusing on my sadness and the friend that I lost, and the business builder I lost, the team member I lost. And that wasn't getting me anywhere. And I just, the self-development I've done throughout the years, I think really helped me to see clearly, like, okay, what I'm focusing on is going to expand. And right now I'm focusing on being angry or being a victim in this, because it did suck. And I know I didn't do anything wrong, right? But it's like, regardless, I'm still playing a victim if I'm just dwelling in it and rehearsing it in my mind. Whatever you rehearse, you're cursing. It's like over and over and over. And so I'm like, I had to just literally, I saw, okay, Jessica, your business is going to go down, and all your dreams are going to go down, or it can go the opposite way if you just focus on something different. And so, it wasn't like a light switch where it was like, oh, the pain was gone. Like I had to do some work. I had to forgive her. I had to write a letter. I had to do certain things, of course, but I had to just get up and it just brought me back to my vision, what I really did want. If I just wanted to like get a free car, or if I just wanted to like earn free product or make extra money for jeans, like, girl, I would have stopped. Like that wasn't big enough to pull me out of there. But I wanted so bad for this to be my plan A. Like it had to be. I wanted to be mom first. I wanted to make money from home. So if I didn't get myself up and focus, then I would have had to work at Walmart, or just kidding, but anywhere, right? Not saying anything bad about Walmart, but I would have had to leave my kids because of this thing that my friend did to me, versus, okay, this happened for me to step up. And so it was, a lot of self-development, I feel like, throughout the years that really helped me to pull my own self out of that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's something so beautiful about network marketing as well, is like the self-development and the leadership that you get from it. Oh my gosh, I'm such a different person than I was before. So different. But that was really what helped me, was just, taking a good look in the mirror, like, okay, well, it's going to go down or not. What do you want? What do you want? And doing the hard thing was not fun, but I wanted this to work for me, with or without her. So
what would you say was the thing that helped you go from 6 figures to 7 figures? If you could point to one thing, because I'm sure it's not one, but if you could pick one, what was the biggest thing?
I know what it was exactly. It was, I always say this, it's like you have to marry your team. So like, in a way, so like, okay, I love who I have on my team so much, and we're such close friends, right? But I guess what I mean by this is, you find these people that you vibe with really well. You find these people who have the same goals as you, who want to go higher, and you marry them in a way where you're literally on them. You have you're texting them, you call them every single day, you give them guidance, direction, like you are on them like no other. And I mean, I remember up late at night, just like talking with these girls and, personal stuff, personal issues, creating a bond, creating a friendship, giving them guidance, just being there. Like literally, we're married. Like that's how I tell them, like, if you really want big money, like you gotta lead your team, and proximity is power. So it's not just like, here, do this, here, do that. Like, oh, let me throw you in a group, do that. No, you got to be with them and be really close with them. And there's more than just business. It's about a personal thing and a friendship, all that stuff, right? And it's so much fun, because you get to know them on a deeper level, but you're also like, girl, let's go. Like, okay, today we're doing this. So that's really where I saw the income just like skyrocket, was where I focused on a few girls, and I was like, you're my girls. Like, let's go. Do you want this? And it was like, okay. And it wasn't like, I asked them like, do you want to marry me? Like, it's so funny. No, it was more just like I was on them every single day, just called them. And it became a routine where they would call me all the time. It was just, yeah, as simple as that. Proximity is power. Stay close to your team and make their goals your goals. Your goals aren't there anymore. It's their goals. So It's only about them,
And what was the biggest thing getting from 5 figures to 6?
Coaching. I feel like, always coaching 100%, but I feel like in the beginning, I tried to do it my way so much, where, my upline and my team was like, oh, here's the systems, here's what we do. And I'm like, oh, that's cute, but that's weird. I'm not doing it. And I thought I was cool. I could do my own thing. And so for the longest time, it got me someplace. It got me to a certain cash flow, which was awesome. But I was stuck. And I'm like, I had to, really be flexible and know, okay, these systems are in place for a reason. The team does these calls for a reason. Maybe I should hop on them. And so what I thought it was so much ego in the beginning, really, or, I just thought some things were weird, where I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to, that's weird. I'm not that network marketing girl. And so I had to kind of just like let myself die in a way where I'm like, I don't know everything. Jessica, stop trying to control everything. These people who are successful are telling you what works. Why aren't you doing it? And so I had to stop and let it be and do the systems, do the things that they have in place, because they're there for a reason. Right. And so having those coaches just guide me and show me. So I had to like act like I was brand new and relearn certain things and know that I'm not the professional, like they know more than me. So
I love that.
Yeah. Doing the things that aren't sexy all the time is what works,
Did you ever find that you poured into people, like you married them and then it didn't end up being the right person?
All the time, honey. Yeah. All the time.
It's like, let's talk about getting tired or burnt out of pouring into people that you don't get a return on. And I know that sounds terrible, but it's true, because in network marketing, your biggest desire is to help people be successful, right? It is to run with people that want to run with. And as the coach, we get really excited to help these people. And so we pour a whole bunch of our heart and our soul into these people that then don't reciprocate the relationship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So can you speak about that?
Totally. So, that's happened, I think, more times than I've won, to be honest with you. It's happened more times than it's gone successful. But I look at it as practice, because if I didn't have that practice or that step of failure, I guess you could say failed I always say fail forward. If I didn't fail forward so many times and do that stuff, it wouldn't set me up for the person who was actually ready to go. Like, I knew exactly what to do, because I've done it so many times. And it sucks. Like, I'm just going to be honest. It sucks. It's hurtful, but you can't control other people and what they do, but you can control your actions, your attitude, and your effort. Yeah. So it's like, okay, what are you going to do, Jess? Another thing, are you going to stop and give up because someone else wasn't willing to do the hard thing? Or are you going to get over it and move forward? And so, I think I've learned this like suck it up attitude from like a young girl. When I was super young, I just was like, do it, get it done, and go. And it's gotten me, pretty far. However, I feel like there's downfalls to strengths, but that's not where we're going. But, what I would just share is that it's just practice. All of it's practice. If you look at it that way, it's about your perspective. And if you dwell on the negative, gosh, I put so much time into this person. Gosh, I married this girl. I traveled for her. I went here, and nothing. Oh my gosh, that attitude is it's literally trash. You're just filling your mind with trash. If you think of it as practice, and it's setting you up for the person who's waiting for you, who's praying for you, who's praying for your leadership, then that's going to give you hope, and that's going to put you towards where you want to go. And so it's just, well, which one, Which one would you?
I love that. Sorry to interrupt. I love that perspective of practice, because I think so many people, myself included, I struggled with this. We were so focused on the outcome rather than the practice. And so when you can flip your perspective and say, no, everything is practice. Doesn't matter what the outcome is. It's all practice. You can let go of the outcome. And when you can let go of the outcome, it's so much more fun.
Like, oh my gosh. Oh, of course. Because this is supposed to be fun, it's not, it's supposed to be like, it's so much fun to meet other women and vibe with them and work with them and help them and put them first. Like, it is so much fun. And if you think of it that way, it's going to, you'll keep going. But if you only focus on the negative, I mean, girl, I wouldn't be here if I did, and a lot of us wouldn't. So
talk to me about your network marketing mastery.
Yeah.
And how you made this pivot to be expanding in your business. And now you want to launch this mastermind for network marketers, which I think is so smart, by the way.
Thanks. I'm so excited for it. I think it's a huge need. And that's kind of where this started, was I was, getting so many DMs from people who are like, do you coach other network marketers? And I was always saying no and turning business away. So stupid. But I was, because I'm like, no, I'm focused on this. And I would give them names or referrals to other people who did. And I was kind of like, well, why am I not? I preach so much on dreaming big. Our team is called Dream Big, Live Free. So I'm telling other people to dream big and live free and to do all these things. But I'm not. And so I felt so convicted, especially after I kept getting these visions from God where he showed me me impacting women outside of Isogenics. And it was on a bigger platform and a bigger level. And I was like, man, what is that like? What am I going to be doing, God? And I know that he wanted me to do something else. And I was given this platform for a reason, and that's kind of what drove me to start and branch off and to help other women in this space. One, because there's a huge need for it. And two, I feel like it's a God-given just opportunity. He wants me to, because I'm supposed to be helping and impacting other women on a lot of, different levels too, with personal and business and mindset and leadership. And I know that network marketing is a strength of mine. So nothing makes me happier than coaching women and seeing them move forward in their life. It truly lights me up. So I'm like, at the end of the day, it makes me so happy. And oh my gosh, seeing them thrive and their business grow, they're going to be happy. And I'm so happy to do it. I haven't seen it done. Honestly, I haven't seen it done. So I'm like, I'm going to do it. And these women are going to be rocked. I can't wait.
Oh my gosh. I love it. And I'm curious, had you joined a mastermind outside of Isogenics before this one? Because I know in network marketing, whatever company you join, they can be very much like, no, stay in the team, get your training only from the company and the team, don't learn from outside sources, not in an overt way, but there's kind of this.
Yeah.
They all recommend personal development books out the wazoo, yes, but they don't necessarily say go join a mastermind, go get a coach outside of this, none of that.
Mm-hmm. So no, I didn't, honestly, because I was in my little network, my Isogenics bubble, until I told you these visions kept coming strongly. And so my church, so amazing. They are so, I guess, what's the word, supportive of people in business. And they want wealth in the hands of Christians and believers. Because, when you have big money, you do amazing things. And so
that.
they have a big, it's not called a mastermind, but it was, gosh, I'm trying to think of the name of it. Where is it? There's a picture of it. Oh, Pathfinders. There you go. It was an apprenticeship. It's called Pathfinders. And so I did that last year for 6 months. And that was kind of like my step out of Isogenics and into a different business world. And it was people in different businesses all around. I mean, there were so many different, like lawyers, like all the, someone who does masterminds too, like just so many different kinds of people. It was so neat. And it kind of just like opened my eyes to business and outside of network marketing and learning, business techniques and just being exposed to more. Again, I knew I was meant to do something outside of Isogenics as well. So I just joined hoping like, gosh, like God speak to me, God speak to me. And by the end of it, I really was like, okay, I know what I'm going to do.
I love it.
Yeah. So that was my first taste of, just life outside of network marketing.
So what would you say to people that are in a certain network marketing company that have had that, like, no, I'm just going to learn from the company and from the people in my upline, and like anybody that does what I do, but they don't necessarily go get a coach outside of that or join a mastermind or things like that. What would you say to them with their type of thinking?
Yeah. Well, it just depends. I mean, if it's what they're doing is working, why would you do something different? Like if what they got is good, and you're seeing results and you're making the money that you want and you haven't hit a plateau and you're not stuck, like keep going and keep doing it. Like if they're offering great training, great coaching, go, but if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, like I'm not where I need to be, like I'm not making the money I know I deserve, I'm not where I'm at, that's when you take a look outside of where you're learning and kind of reevaluate what you're given and find other people or other coaches or, other events. There's so many things out there to find what you need to be successful. There's so many resources. It's just a matter of you finding them. But I wouldn't really recommend it until you're at this place where you need it. I feel like when you're just starting in network marketing, you got good leadership and good coaching, go with it. If it's working, why change it if it's working?
And then I think so many people would probably struggle with, well, how do I know if it's really working or not? Because they'll see just enough growth to like keep them going, but it's not like massive growth. So we're talking like maybe they've been in for like 3, 4, 5 years, but they're still only making $4,000 or $5,000 a month.
Well, I would say if that's their goal, if their goal is making $4,000 or $5,000 a month and they're happy, that's what, you know what I mean? Like then
they're not.
Yeah. But if you're in for a few years and you're still at this income goal and you're in deep down, you're like, I know I'm in the right home. This is the right company for me. I'm knowing I'm doing all the right things. There's nothing else I've messed up on. I'm doing it all.
Right.
And you feel in your heart and in your gut that like just something's not right. You need someone else to come in and take a look at what you're doing. And coaching is massive. I mean, we all need one. Even back to my marriage, like we wouldn't be where we are today. We wouldn't be together if we didn't have those people speaking life into us and showing us our holes, our blind spots. We all need someone. I don't care what level you're at. I don't care where
Yeah. But then what do we say? Because I get it now, but I used to be that person too. What do you say to people that are like afraid to get someone that's outside of their company or outside of their like network?
Oh my gosh, I haven't had someone be like that, honestly, where they're...
And I don't know if it's an overt fear, but it's more just like, why would I go learn from someone else that's not in the company?
Well, I would tell them that network marketing is all the same, regardless of what business you're in, which company you're in. Yeah, you get paid different. Yeah, there's different products, but all the fundamentals are the same and there's no different. And that's where it's like, okay, well, you can be, stuck in your ways and go with only your company, but you're limiting yourself to growth. You're limiting yourself to other ways people do it who are successful. So if other people have what you want, why are you not going to them? Regardless of what company you're in. And it's like, also, it's that mean girl attitude. It's like, if there's competition and if you feel like that, then like, I won't work with you. Like you have to be open, right? You have to be like, there is no competition. I want you to win. I want everyone to win. Like there's so much for everybody. Why would, do you know what I'm saying? Like I know there's a lot of competition sometimes where it's like, oh, but I'm with this company, you're with that company. Like, I can't talk with you. Like, no, that's it. I'm just not, I don't give light to that. So we should work together anyway, but.
No, I agree. And I totally agree that it is all the same. The fundamentals are always the same. And so why not learn from other people and get their ideas for systems and how they're doing things and how they're seeing success or the way they're talking about the opportunity? Like, why not go mine the gold? Because there's so much gold out there to be mined. Like, go mine the gold. What about, I want to dig into a little bit. I know we're going late, but that's fine. I want to dig into coming around the mindset of like having it be okay to build something outside of network marketing. Because I also think it's really hard. It's not widely accepted.
Right.
At least it hasn't been for me to build something outside of your network marketing business. And there can actually be backlash too.
For sure. Totally. I'm in the baby steps of doing it. So I feel like I haven't experienced that quite yet. And I'm preparing myself for it. And that was a huge block that I had for myself because I never wanted my team to see, oh, she's doing something different. Oh, like she's not going to be there for me anymore. Or maybe this business doesn't work anymore if she's doing something else. You know, I didn't want them to doubt the company or to doubt just the company in general, because that's not why I'm moving forward. I mean, I'm still here. I'm still there. So it just was like totally a little block where I'm like, I want them to know that I'm still here for them. But again, I told you, like, I feel like this is it's God, like driving me in a different direction. And not a different direction. I'm still going to be here, but I think my team will understand. And we've had this conversation where I preach so much on dreaming big, and my team's so amazing. They're going to support me. I think the more backlash I would get is maybe like upline, sidelines, like company wide. And the reason why I feel like it's because when they see you doing other things that are bigger than them, they feel unsafe, or they feel like kind of rocked a little bit because maybe they want to do something else too. And it's, but I've had a lot of people too who were like so supportive, like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you. Like, this is going to be so great. Like, I know you're going to just kill it, And I feel like it's because they don't maybe have that on their heart to like do something bigger. Does that make sense? I feel like the people who want to do more are the ones who have an issue with it. That makes sense.
Sure. But also, like, don't you think it's smart? Like, if you feel that pull, if you feel that calling to build something else in addition to network marketing, why would you not add an additional stream of income?
Yeah.
Like, I guess I come now from the mindset of like, the more solutions you have, the more people you can help, the more money you make. Like, that's why we're here, right? Like, why would I tell myself, no, you can't do that yet because you haven't done this all the way, or you haven't been like this. I don't know, but I feel like there's this expectation, like you have to be at the very tippy top before you're allowed to go do anything else. And even then
I feel like it's not
might be on the outside. Yeah, totally.
Like it's not something they want you to do.
They think it's shady. And I'm like, how is that shady to be building something else to help more people?
Yes. And it's all, again, it goes back to perspective. And, and to be honest with you, I do feel like some people in network marketing have like kind of like a cult mindset where it's like, this is it. This is the end all be all. Like, this is all. And I'm like, that's where they're at, and that's okay. But that's not where I'm at. And I'm owning where I'm at. That's your jam. That can be your jam. It's, does that make sense? I feel like I've seen a lot of people who have like that mindset where it's like, this is it. This is it. And it's like, that's not abundant mindset to me though. But you know what? Maybe it's not on their heart to build or do something else. Maybe that's where they're supposed to be, and that's okay. But don't judge me for wanting more and wanting to, impact other women on a deeper and bigger level.
Oh my gosh, I love that you said that's not abundant mindset, because I do think abundant mindset sees opportunities instead of threats.
Totally. That's how it feels. I feel like, yeah, for some people. And again, I haven't, experienced much of this quite yet, but I know that as I'm, branching out more, it might come, but I'm ready for it. I feel like I have a really resilient personality, and if I feel called to do something, I'm going to do it. And the people who love me will support me, and the people who don't, maybe just don't belong with me, and that's okay.
I love it. So tell us when your network marketing mastery starts. Yay. And like, what are the details about it? What is it going to look like? What are people going to get? Like, when do they join? All this stuff.
Yeah. So I'm doing discovery calls right now for it. It's going to launch in June, and it's a 6-month program. And so there's different tiers for different levels, but this is definitely for someone who's not new to network marketing. I'm not going to be really going over basics and fundamentals and stuff like that. I'm going to be exposing them to their holes and really personally coaching them to what they need to do to exceed, to go next level. And it's important for me to like have a safe space for these leaders who are at the top to learn from each other and to collaborate. That is where I've learned the most in my whole business, not the events or the personal growth. Yes, they've helped. I'm not telling you they haven't. But where I've learned the most is getting in a room with other women who are high-level leaders like me and asking them questions, talking about how do you do this? How do you do that? And learning from each other. And so that's so priceless, beyond priceless. I've learned all my stuff from that. So they're going to be just exposed to other high-level leaders to learn from them and to collaborate and have other, people coming in, different educators coming in monthly and giving them, just wisdom to up-level their game on social media and all around their business. So it's going to be so impactful. I cannot wait. Like, I want it to start tomorrow. But yeah, I'm so excited. So in June's the date. And then at the end of the 6 months, we're having a big workshop, a big event. And hopefully COVID allows that. I'm praying. I'm sure it will by December. What do you think? I think it will.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds amazing.
I'm excited.
Totally sounds amazing. And tell me, how many people are in your organization total?
A little over 25,000.
Oh my gosh. And you've been building this for how long?
7 years.
7 years and 25,000 people. Talk about duplication.
Yeah.
That's amazing duplication.
Yeah. Here's a fun little tip. So like I've enrolled I'm just going to guesstimate like about 350 people-ish. I would even say less than that. And some people would be like, that's a lot of people. But it's really not in 7 years if you look at that. I mean, and my team is 25,000 people. So that's massive duplication going on. And I'm telling you, it's because it's never really who you know at the moment. It's who you're going to meet in your business or in the future. And I love digging deep into my organization and finding women there who are just sitting there waiting for someone to show them this opportunity. Yeah. And that's I think the thing that I really have that people don't do as often is just dig, find, they're there. So I'm not a massive enroller, but I'm a big duplicator.
So 350, you're saying team members, not like customers?
Oh, they're all customers. So all the customers are the same. So customers, business builders, they're all the same. So yeah, 350 people.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And I'm like, okay, now I want to learn, what are your duplication secrets? That's incredible to go in 7 years to 25,000 people when you've only recruited 350. I don't know how many that is a year. I would love to do the math to figure that out, but that is incredible. And you've helped, I'm assuming, multiple people hit 6 figures themselves.
Yeah, there's about 6 of us in our team who earn 6 figures. There was actually just one that was made last week. So exciting. But a lot of people are making 5 figures. I actually called the company yesterday to ask, how many people are making money in my organization? And they can't tell me. They're like, you're not allowed to. But there's, hundreds and hundreds of people who are earning, from 50 to 50,000 a month. It's amazing. So.
Oh my gosh, incredible. So where can people find you and how can they apply to be in this?
So everything's on my Instagram. I know that's where you go. So Jessica_Wiltshire. And I have my link tree set up to all the things that I have as far as my business and the shop and even to apply for this network marketing mastery. That's where they would just apply and then we would chat and go from there.
And I'll make sure and put your Instagram in the show notes so people know how to spell it and go find you. I'm super, super excited because I think it can be easy to learn the fundamentals in network marketing. The hardest part is duplication.
Oh, of course. And the leadership part. And and the mindset. This whole business is a mindset. So if you don't have that strong mindset, it's going to be really hard to move forward.
And I remember hitting this point where I'm like, okay, I'm good at just people telling me what to do. And that's how I got here. Just tell me what to do to get to the next level. And no one could tell me. I had to just kind of as a baby, figure it out, get so freaking frustrated that I could just figure it out because everything they were telling me to do, I was already doing. And so sometimes I think it was my own mindset, right? Holding me back. I don't think it was what I was doing. But I do think that that's a huge part of the duplication switch is changing your mindset.
Of course, it's everything. That's where, like, if you were still doing it, that's where you would find a coach to help you with where your holes are in that space, if that's where you wanted to stay. I know that's not where you wanted to, but at that point where you're doing all the right things, but you're just like, I'm not seeing, what I want, that's where it's like, okay, time to venture elsewhere to find the leadership, because it's there.
Oh, yeah. Knowing what I know now, I should have found a coach a long time ago.
So you're where you're supposed to be.
That's right.
You're exactly where you need to be. So.
Well, thank you so much for being on. I just want to honor your time and honor your message and like how vulnerable you were with your story. And I just think that you're such an amazing person to follow. Everybody should follow her because she's super cute on Instagram and positive. And I can't wait to watch you with this mastermind, because I think it's just going to like rock the network marketing world. So
yes, girl. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored, and I just love what you're doing and everything that you're about. So thank you for being here.
I love you back.